Welcome to the Walton Law Firm, the Trip Walton Law Firm, the Tripped Out Show, the Trip Walton Law Firm CEO show.
The Kevin Dunn Show.
No, Kevin Dunn Show is on a hiatus right now. Hiatus.
How you?
I'm good. How you doing, man?
I like your Auburn gear.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, just it's springtime, trying to get into the thick of things before things start happening. You know, these A-Day games and all that stuff that don't really mean too much.
I didn't even pay any attention to this year's A-Day. It sort of slipped up on me.
It did.
Did you go to the game?
No, I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't because of the weather. If of course I know, you'd rather be at home, because there's so many people. But if I'm going to watch a game and it's below 60 and it's raining, I want to be watching Alabama playing Auburn. It's not an A-Day game.
Not an A-Day. I'm with you. I wouldn't even want to play in one of those.
But the only reason I really watched that game because the newcomer from the Fed, Jatavius Whitlow, they got him at the running back position, and he did pretty good.
He did do pretty good.
Yeah, look at the depth chart. He's the number 2 running back going into the season now. They saw the depth chart today.
That's a good place to start.
It is. It's good. That's a good place to start. And so what's been going on with you, man? Any vacations?
No, I can't think of any vacations.
I've had one, but it ain't my show.
Where'd you go?
We went on a cruise to Nassau.
Oh, cool. I've been there.
And Coco Cay with Royal Caribbean.
You didn't see my fellow down there, Willie, did you?
No, I didn't see Willie. I didn't see Willie neither. Hey, we went to Atlanta, but I'm like, hey, me and Trip are 2 different individuals, Willie.
Who else an expensive trip? Woo.
Yeah, Willie loves you.
Yeah.
I saw Willie.
I sent him a happy birthday the other day. I saw he was still in Nassau.
Yeah, he still remember that $10,000 you gave him while you were down there.
Lord have mercy.
I'd like to have been your butler or whoever took care of you. Whatever he was. What's a male nanny? Is there a male nanny? I know there's a female nanny.
It'd be a job I couldn't pay you enough to hang out in my house and help. You'd hate it.
Could.
Well, we might have to give it a go.
I got you. So no vacations?
No, I can't. No, we had spring break, but everybody went in different directions. My wife went down to Disney World with my 12-year-old, and they had a cheer competition they competed in. Then they came back and went to the beach, and I went fishing with my sister in South Alabama and just kind of hung out, didn't do a whole lot.
Catch anything?
Wasted time.
A hiatus.
Yeah. Avoided alligators, and they were snorting at us in the water, so that was kind of interesting. But caught a few fish, but not a lot.
Okay.
It was just too windy.
Okay. But was it relaxing?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So did your wife have a good time at Disney?
She said she did, but they get up at daybreak, and they go to dark. I've never seen anything like it. They ride every ride 3 times. They said the lines were extremely long, 2 and 3 hour waits. I couldn't stand that. I'm not going to do that. I've been to Disney World one time. That's all I need.
Now, did she spend her money or your money?
Oh, I'm sure it was my money. You think about how my crowd works.
Yeah, that's why I want to be your nanny. I mean, all that other good
butler.
stuff.
You can be the butler.
Butler.
Yeah,
the butler. Okay, I'll take real good care of you. And you don't even have to tip me, just pay me.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Walton Law Firm. And this may seem kind of funny to you, but just yesterday I was in Kroger, and this guy came up to me. And he said, that Trip Walton, man, he said, I would just like to get in some trouble so I could give Trip a call. He said, if I ever get into trouble, I'm going to give him a call. Trip, I'll tell you no lie, this guy really came up and talked to me yesterday on how much he enjoyed watching you on the show.
You know, a lot of people say they watch the show. I said, well, what do you like about it best? They said, y'all look like y'all having a good time.
Yeah.
I said, so it's not like a learning process? No. It's
well, actually, it is. We put a little something out there first, and then we go into the dynamics of learning.
That's right.
Can't have 30 minutes of total entire learning.
You lose your audience.
Exactly. Because our attention span is how long?
About 2 seconds. Mine's about 1.5 seconds. On a good day. On
a good day. Well, how are you a successful lawyer with an attention span of 2 seconds on a good day?
Well, I just stay on one file a second. I got thousands of files. Like speed reading.
Okay, I got you. All right.
And I got a great staff doing the work, so that helps.
Okay, all right. That helps. Kind of like Nick Saban, got a great staff doing all the work.
You got to have a great staff.
Can't believe that came out of my mouth. But anyway, what does the Walton Law Firm, just in case you join us for the first time and you don't know what type of law Trip Walton practices, he's going to tell you that right now.
We do personal injury, wrongful death, tractor-trailer cases, car wreck cases, pedestrian cases where people get run over crossing the street, an enormous amount of dog bite cases. It's amazing how many dog bite cases we have in the office. Motorcycle wreck cases. Of course, a lot of motorcycle wrecks involve brain injuries. We do a lot of brain injuries. We also, in Alabama only, we do all that in Georgia and Alabama, but in Alabama we do a ton of criminal cases, primarily related with alcohol offenses and drug offenses. Because we have an office there at Auburn University, we see a lot of college children who experiment with different drugs and get caught doing it, and of course drink underage, drink and drive, all that kind of stuff. So we do tons of DUIs, public intox, weed cases, heroin, LSD, cocaine, you name it, we see it. So that's
a pretty wide range.
Yeah, we got a sort of a small criminal division in the firm, and they stay real busy.
Okay, all right. Now, when you're in court, I'm just curious. In a lot of these cases, when a judge is talking, does he refer to marijuana as weed? What is the judge?
It depends on the judge. Just like when I used to try mobile home cases, I was defending mobile home cases, and one judge over in West Alabama always thought he was helpless by calling it a trailer. He called it a trailer. And we made them, so we called them modular homes.
Okay, modular homes.
And the plaintiff lawyer wanted to call them modular homes because he was suing us because we built a bad home. But the judge always called them trailer homes.
Yeah, modular home is a high-end trailer, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But anyway, it was kind of interesting. But it depends on the judge.
Okay, depends on the judge. Now, Tripp, you say you guys defend dog biting cases, and that just brought another interesting question to me. Here, a lot of people still get arrested for dog fighting. Now, what type of lawyers do they go to when they're trying to get off?
They go to criminal lawyers.
No, criminal lawyers.
Criminal lawyers.
Okay.
I've never had a dog fighting case. That's primarily up in North Alabama,
okay,
a little more north of where we are.
Okay.
But they do have that still. You know, chicken fighting, dog fighting. I've never understood that, but they apparently do that.
You remind me of Chris Tucker. That chicken laws, he was delicious. Anyway, truck wrecks and car wrecks. In your line of work, which do you experience? And I know you probably don't know, but just which do you experience more, truck or car?
Probably 60% of our cases are car wrecks, okay, with or cars involving trucks or trucks on trucks, probably about 40%. It's just so crowded. The interstate's got so crowded. You get out there, I don't care if it's a Tuesday afternoon or a Sunday morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, the interstate's just packed.
Okay.
So anybody makes a little mistake, it's a crash up. And one thing I'm seeing though is less and less injuries from people that are in single car accidents and tire blowouts. So cars are being made better. You know, I was thinking the other day with the we do about 60 to 80 rear end collisions a year. And with the new brake systems coming out, within 4 or 5 years, those cases will be gone.
Right, right.
So we got to figure out something else to do.
Okay. Gonna start.
But it'll save lives and save necks and whiplash and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully, it'll be a good thing.
Okay, all right. Now with truck, I'm trying to say car wrecks and truck wrecks at the same time. I said Trek.
There you go.
Shrek, whatever. Anyway. A very tedious process. I know I've been through this before, homeowners insurance, auto insurance. Let's talk about claims.
Why would you even need a lawyer? A lot of people want to know.
Right, right.
And let me talk about reserves first.
Okay. Okay.
Reserves is the amount of money that the insurance company sets when they get the initial notice of the claim. It goes into a claim supervisor, he assigns an adjuster. That adjuster has to go out and start working on the claim, trying to figure out what the claim is worth with very little information initially. So within 15 days, they need to sort of set some money aside because they don't just keep the full policy. Let's say the guy who's in the wreck has a $100,000 policy. They don't have $100,000 sitting in the bank account for that policy.
Right.
That $100,000 is with 16 other $1 billion in the stock market and in the bond market. So what they do is when they have a claim, they bring in a reserve and they set $5,000, $20,000, $50,000, depending on what they think the case is worth. And they set that relatively early. They'll set it within 15 days and they'll reset it maybe within 30 days when they get more information. Depending on where they get their information from, they should have it set in stone by 6 months. Well, if they've set it too low, say they've set it at $50,000 because the plaintiff lawyer or the person handling the claim has not given them the information about the neck surgery, the foot surgery, and the ankle surgery. So they're just thinking it's a one surgery case, and say you got 3. Then they got to unset the reserve and go get more money, and that takes an act of Congress with a lot of insurance companies. Once they lock it in, that's why having a lawyer in the claim typically gets you a higher reserve set from the get-go. Plus, we require, I say require, it's part of our protocol for our clients to call in after every major medical appointment. So when they call in Ms. Lockridge, Jeannie Lockridge, who's been with me 21, 22 years, they give her a report. She looks at it. If it says surgery plan, we go ahead and let the adjuster know to help him or her with her job to get the reserves set properly up. Because if you don't do that, and you wait a year and a half and you send a demand for $350,000 on a legitimate $350,000 case, and they've only set $50,000 aside, it's a problem. It's going to cause a delay. You're going to have to file a lawsuit on a case that you normally wouldn't file a lawsuit. And people say, well, why don't you want to file a lawsuit? Well, a lawsuit costs a lot of money, and that money comes out of the pocket. We pay it on the way, but if we win, we get reimbursed. So it comes out of the client's pocket. So if you can settle a case for $250,000 by spending $300 versus settling one for $250,000 by spending $50,000 or $60,000 in experts, medical stuff, all that kind of stuff, it makes sense not to file suit. But if the reserves are set too low, sometimes you're forced to file suit. Or sometimes, the worst thing I see happening to keep reserves low is when somebody tries to handle their own claim for the first 8, 10, 15 months. And then they get it up and they get mad because the adjuster basically tells them, we're not paying that. Whatever you want, we're not paying it. And then they come to us, and getting involved in the case late and getting that reserve undone and get more money into that file is difficult. It's just the way the system works. And most people have no idea that there is a system.
And that's what I'm finding out, because I never knew how to
Most people don't know what a reserve is. And most lawyers don't know what reserves are.
Oh, lawyers don't either?
No. I mean, it's not something they teach in law school.
Reason being?
They probably don't know. It's part of the way the system works, but it's not a law. So and just a small fraction of lawyers are personal injury lawyers anyway. So but anyway,
who's looking at all this? I mean,
it's internal insurance industry function, and some of them do it a little differently. But in general, they all set reserves. They try to set them as low as possible. And the reason they want to set a reserve as low as possible is, when they set the reserve, they got to pull money out of good investments, out of the stock market or the bond market, and put it in a low-yielding money market. So it's sitting down here at 1% interest rather than running 6, 7, 8, 10% interest. So it's all about them making money off of your premiums. And people think, well, State Farm probably takes in $1 million in premiums. They take in $1 million in premium a minute.
A minute. Yeah.
They're worth billions and billions, and all of them are. And they put all that money in the market, and they're making more and more money off of it while they're waiting on you to call in a claim. Another thing, the claims process in Alabama is an adversarial process. The adjuster is not there to assist you. His duty is to the insurance company. It is not to you. Let's just say they set a claim value at, say, $20,000. Their job is to settle it for $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. So they set it at $20,000, a legitimate $20,000 claim. But they talk to somebody who doesn't have a lawyer or has a lawyer who does bankruptcy and doesn't do what we do. They settle it for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. They make the star. They get to be an all adjuster instead of an all super lawyer. They get to be a super adjuster. Because they save the company $22,000 or $20,000, whatever it is they save them. Or say they set it at $1 million and they sell it for $100,000. They save the company in their mind $900,000. So their duty is not to you to help you with your claim. Their duty specifically is to, now some of them do. They're not obligated to tell you about timelines. They're not obligated to tell you about different coverages. They're not obligated to tell you anything or to educate you. You have the burden of proof. You've got to get them the stuff. Some of them will help you. Some of them are very nice. We don't see those. We see the ones who are not very nice because they make somebody mad, then they come hire a personal injury lawyer. So that's sort of in a nutshell how it works. But reserves is a big part of it. And I would bet, 90% of the people out there have never heard the term reserve. They think that if the guy has 100,000, they think 100,000 sitting in the bank for them to come get. That's not so.
Right.
It's never in the bank until there's a claim, and then they pull a little bit, and they may add to it. But that's why it's important for personal injury lawyers like us to keep the adjuster up to date on anything going on with your client that could increase that reserve.
Oh, okay.
Because the last thing you want to do, like I said, is get to the end of the day and you make a demand for 100,000 and they've only got reserves at 15,000. That's the problem. And that adjuster and that supervisor's got to answer to their company why you hadn't told us this is if it's a real $100,000 case, why is our reserve sitting there at 15,000? So mainly it's because probably the plaintiff's lawyer hadn't called them and told them about a couple of surgeries going on.
Okay.
Or rehab or whatever they're having to do. So it's just something to know, and that's why we require our clients to call in after every major medical appointment, talk to Jenny. That allows us to continually evaluate the case. Another thing that's just sometimes is terrible for us is a lawyer will file the lawsuit, mess with it for a while, not have done any of the stuff that we want to do, and then want us to take the lawsuit over. And that's a problem. That's a problem. Because it's just not set up the way we set them up.
Right.
It's not, anyway.
Time, extra work.
I mean, we appreciate referrals, but if the referral's coming from a lawyer, we need that referral to come in the door as quickly as they sign the case.
Okay.
If you don't do it, let us do it from the get-go.
Now, these adjusters, I'm pretty sure they probably get bonuses for saving the company.
Oh yeah, that's how they work. They get gold stars and stuff like that for saving the money. How much money did you save us this year? They don't get stars for paying out money.
Right.
That's not part of their. It's funny. People will come in and say, "Well, that adjuster was helping me," and then all of a sudden they just said they weren't going to pay me but $12,000. I said, "Why would they help you? I mean, what makes their job is to work for State Farm, Geico, Progressive. It's not to help you with your claim."
There you go.
I mean, the case law itself says their duty is to their company, not to you.
Not to you.
So if they don't have a duty to you, then they don't have a duty to tell you the truth. You can't rely on what they tell you. You can go get you a lawyer, somebody knows what they're doing, but you can't just rely on what somebody tells you because they don't have a duty to you. Their duty is to their insurance carrier, company that they work for.
So what is the determining factor on you being dropped from your insurance company, but say after one rate?
Underwriting.
Underwriting. So it has nothing to do with adjusting.
No.
Okay.
It has to do with underwriting, what they'll stand for. Some companies stand for more than others.
Okay.
When I say stand for more, they'll put up with more.
Okay.
They'll take more high-risk drivers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an underwriting thing. I've never dealt with it that much, other than I've had a couple of children who've been dropped with no at-fault wrecks. Several wrecks, but no at-fault wrecks. Just always on the verge, and they get dropped. So
there you go.
There you have it.
So the adjusters are not so. We won't call them bad guys, but they're not so good.
No, some of them are very good. Some of them are very helpful. But when people come in raising Cain about the adjuster did this or said that, I said, well, that's what their job is. They're to beat you down and get you to take nothing or as little amount as they can.
Right.
That's what their job is to do.
And what tripped me out the last time I had an adjuster come out to my house, I actually got a check on the spot. He printed a check in the car. How long have they been doing that?
Well, it gets the case resolved quickly. It keeps you away from a lawyer to get a double opinion, to get your second opinion. If they'll pay you right then and there, then you're in. You're done. They've just.
Okay.
And you can bet, invariably I'll have somebody come in and say, well, I settled my own net case about 10 years ago and I got $15,000. And I said, you did? Yeah. Well, you left $175,000 on the table. I mean, they don't have a clue what the case is worth because they don't understand the market. And the market's different depending on what state, what county you're in. You can have 5 counties in Alabama, and every one of them, if you had the same facts happen in 5 different counties, you'd have 5 different values.
Okay, okay.
Some of them are more conservative, some of them are more liberal, some of them won't give you money, some of them will give you too much money, some of them will give you more than you ask for, and others want to sue you for coming and filing the lawsuit.
Okay.
So you need to know, But it's amazing when people, mess up their own cases and think they've done a good job.
Done a good job.
Yeah,
And
we see that. But you know, what can you say?
Okay, all right, yeah, that'll make me leaving $100,000 on the table.
Or sometimes I hear, you know, my cousin had a table just a case like mine, and she got 2.5 million, and you're saying I'm only going to get 25,000, and my always response to that is, go get your cousin's lawyer to take this case. I think he or she is a lot better than we are.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now let's shift it a little bit to some pedestrian cases.
We see a lot of pedestrian cases, tons of pedestrian cases, and I think the reason is people don't pay attention that are driving, and people that are walking aren't paying attention.
True.
And what I say a lot of times, even when our clients are in the crosswalk, which means we're going to recover, they're on the phone or they're talking to their friend. The car's coming this way, and they're looking at this person, and they're just not paying any attention. They think they're going to stop because they're supposed to stop, just like the crosswalks out here in LaGrange, the ones all in downtown Auburn. You know, there's all kind of signs, but sometimes drivers aren't paying attention. They're distracted.
Exactly.
They're distracted, and the person walking is distracted, and that's a bad deal. So somebody's going to get hurt. So we see that a good bit.
I was driving last night, and you know, I always wondered, you know, why do people hit other people who are walking or whatnot, not in another car, and they keep on driving. I know most of them are kind of scared and don't want to face the consequences. But I was in a scenario last night when a guy was in the turning lane, and he he was walking
in the turning lane.
And yeah, it was nighttime, and I could have easily hit him and not have known what it was, or could have thought it may have been an animal.
Been too late once you hit him.
Yeah, so. In your cases, people mainly probably leaving because they don't want to get in trouble or they think they can get over. But I just saw how that could happen last night.
Yeah, and we represent people on the criminal side for leaving the scene of an accident, and that's a felony, where they have hit somebody and they keep on going.
Right.
And they panic. Even when if they stopped, they wouldn't even get they wouldn't even get a citation a lot of times. They're not responsible for the death. But they are responsible for reporting the accident, so that can be a problem. They can turn a little bitty inconvenience for stopping and taking care of the business into a major felony. So it's kind of bad. And in Alabama, if there's any injury at all or death, it's a felony. So there's no misdemeanor to get it down to. So now, if there's no injury, it's a misdemeanor. It's like a traffic ticket, leaving the scene. But if you hit somebody and injure them or kill them and leave the scene, you're charged with a felony, leaving the scene of the accident.
Yeah, I found out that I just found out that was a case that I knew somebody that was involved with. You know, they left just for a quick second and came back, but you know, the person got injured, so it took on a new meaning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
But Trip, what do we got here, right here? This, I don't want to mess it up. It looks all pretty. It says the Super Lawyer 2017 selectee.
2017, since 2011, every year.
Every year?
Every year.
So tell us.
They must run out of lawyers.
I doubt that, because there's a lawyer on every corner. Like, kind of like a church in the South.
Or dentists, lawyers, used cars. We're all on every corner.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations on this award.
Well, thank you.
CBS,
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this award and how you maintain it.
It's that's a good question, how I maintain it. You know, they called me back in 2011, the first year, and said that you know, they vet you and look at your verdicts and look at your practice and look at your ethics and look at everything, and then they claim you're part of the 5% of the top lawyers in the state, or in the South now. I think it's Southeast. So I've been fortunate to be there since 2011.
Okay.
So
2011.
So far, so good.
So do you
that and a cup of coffee, that and $3 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
$3, okay, Starbucks. Okay, all right. Well,
that's an interesting looking little plaque, though.
It is.
So I thought my staff wanted me to bring it and put it on the TV show.
Yeah, that's what you call just making it work there.
Yeah.
Well, it must be a prestigious award because everybody don't receive it.
No, most people don't receive it. So it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does it get old to you winning these awards, so you feel like that's a job?
Some of them are just cheesy.
Okay.
But you know, being rated A with Martindale Hubbell, which is your #1 peer ranking group,
Okay.
and having Super Lawyer, those two are significant.
So how do they measure what you do? By the number of cases you win, or the cases you have, or
They ask me every year to select super lawyers, so I send a list of people that I think meet certain criteria. But I've never noticed them naming any of them super lawyer after I voted for them. So I don't know what they do to vet them. I guess maybe if somebody comes up 15 times, they go vet that person to see what they're about.
Okay.
And what the vetting process is, I don't know if it has to do with verdicts, wins, clients, ratings, you know, Google rate, whatever. I don't know.
So you don't make the highway; you just drive on them, right?
That's right.
You just receive the award.
I just received the
Ask me all these
award.
questions. I just received the award. I'm a recipient.
All I can say is I just don't know. I do not know.
You do not know.
I tell my clients, which they just won't do, is say, I don't know.
I don't know.
A lot of times that's the best answer in the world.
It is.
I don't know or I don't remember is really good. Other than if you start guessing, you just messed it up.
Wow. Okay. And you were saying something about you have a conference to speak at.
Yeah, I got called about talking out in another tractor trailer conference. This one's out in Austin, Texas, sometime in August. You know, they had the bomber out there recently, so I wasn't really fired up about it, so I didn't initially respond. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to fly out there in August and give a talk.
Okay. Is that like a 2-3 day event, or?
Yeah, it'd be a 2 or 3 day event with lawyers from all over the country who specialize in tractor trailers or do tractor trailers a good deal. I don't know if you can say specialized still, but that's what we do, tractor trailers and cars. And for some reason, I got on the speaking circuit years ago and have been, you know, all across the country, so it's been fun. Okay.
Does that really help you out with cases by you going to different locations?
You know, it's on my website at www.waltonlaw.net. I think that's what our website is.
Okay.
I mean, you know, it lists them all. You know, we went out to Salt Lake City last year and spoke. I've been to Arkansas, to Little Rock, St. Louis, Missouri, Birmingham, Mobile, Sandestin. It might help if somebody's shopping around and look to send a case from out of state to be a known tractor trailer lawyer, but you know, you locally they don't care. But I mean, you know, people who are run over by a transfer truck, you know, my neighbor told me to call you, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Tripp, always a pleasure to sit down and talk with you. I guess we just have too much fun. It comes across on the television, and people think we have way too much fun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had a lady tell me, you really like talking to Tripp. I said, Tripp's an interesting guy, you know?
You're the first I let talk.
Okay.
Most of the time I don't let folks talk. I do all the talking.
I got you.
This is the Kevin Dunn Show. Don't let him fool you.
Tripp Walton 3 Law Show and all that good stuff. All right, well, if you need a fighter,
I'm your man. I'm in your corner.
He's in your corner.
We don't start the fight, we finish it.
That's it. All right, we'll see you next time on the Tripp Walton Law Firm Show right here on WJCN TV.